Well, we know narcissistic abuse can cause a lot of negative side effects, but what does it actually look like when we're talking about it producing trauma? And how does that actually link together? We're going to dive into that some today just to give you a more well-rounded perspective and an idea of what's going on. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, change, and development. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the NARC app, and your guide in the 45-day Clarity Challenge you can access at claritychallenge.net. So be able to check that out. Okay, if you like what you see here talking about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, my journey in narcissism, please hit subscribe, hit that notification so you can know when we drop new videos, when we do live Q&As, when we're on the channel, multiple different things that we do throughout the week that we'd love to be able to have you a part of as well. So when we're talking about narcissistic abuse, like a lot of times you see trauma with it. Like a lot of times you see it like linked together. Now, this might be in multiple different levels, whether that's CPTSD, which we've done some videos about recently, psychological, mental abuse due to the trauma in the narcissistic relationship. So I want to walk you through just like an overview in one sense, but different pieces of the emotional, the psychological, some of the, like the brain damage that can come from it, and then also to start your healing and start to go through that process. Well, there's a lot of damages that happen when you're in a narcissistic relationship. When you're in that type of a toxic environment with a toxic person, it gets really difficult to be able to process things. We'll see a lot of emotional and psychological issues come out of being with a toxic person. Probably one of the biggest ones that we see is gaslighting. Gaslighting has this huge effect on people because it's messing with you mentally, emotionally, psychologically, like on so many different levels. There's that point where someone's not just lying to your face saying, I didn't do that or that didn't happen, but then they're also trying to turn it around on you and make you feel like you're the crazy one. Make you feel like you're the one that can't rely on your senses or that has no clue about what reality really is like. The whole concept of gaslighting came from a movie called Gaslighting, where the person was trying to convince the other person that they were crazy by what they were seeing with the gaslights in the hallways flickering back on and off. And so like there's a piece of like the gaslighting part that has some great like psychological like damage when people start to see and believe a different reality than what's actually real. And the whole purpose of doing gaslighting is so that the other person feels crazy and the other person's in control. So like when we talk through the gaslighting aspect, like the big aspect here is like make the other person doubt their reality. Make them doubt not just what they saw, but make them doubt their own senses. Like maybe I don't know how to process something. Maybe what I am actually seeing is actually wrong. Maybe I need to get checked out because I have an issue with me, when all they're doing is getting someone to show them a doubt to their actual reality. Like the whole thing is here, like confuse and then like question your sanity. So gaslighting is a huge impact emotionally, psychologically for like people going into narcissistic abuse, like what actually comes out of it and how it actually affects them. The manipulation piece oftentimes is a huge aspect as well. And we see this with narcissism specifically with the aspect of lying. Like lying really well and like lying consistently, almost habitually to the place where like you never know what's actually true. All they're trying to do is get something out of you or get an end result or get a transaction to happen between you and the other person. This could be like flattery to like pump you up, to tear you back down. This could be like guilt tripping to be able to get what I want in the situation. Like the idea is you feel like you don't have any control anymore. Like you feel trapped. You're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of this. Sometimes we see other damages come from emotional blackmail, where the narcissist like treats you, guilts you, forces you, like coerces you, like uses your own feelings, uses your own care against you to be able to flip it around so that they are the ones that get something out of you and you feel bad for not giving in. You feel bad for not doing what they want because of how they're twisting it around emotionally to be able to confuse you, to be able to distract you, and to be able to ultimately control and get what they want. We also see, and this is very common in narcissistic abuse, is the verbal abuse piece, where the other person tears you down. Did you have a toxic person that was very good at tearing you down with their words? Maybe they never hit you, maybe they never laid hands on you, but they probably made you feel just as beat up by what they said to you, how they talked to you, how they communicated stuff passive aggressively, how they had small comments that really impacted and affected you to a great deal. Oftentimes a narcissist will tear you down to bring you down to their level or underneath them so they feel better about themselves. And then you get to the place where you feel like you are worthless because of what they communicated, how they said it, the name calling that they did, how they were belittling you, how they did all these different things that slowly chipped away at your self-esteem and your self-worth. And you're left oftentimes thinking, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what's right, what's wrong. And it leaves you stuck. So many people are in this place where they feel completely and utterly stuck, like they're not sure what to do. Oftentimes this can feel like you're hopeless, like there is no other way to be able to get through this situation, and you're stuck. Oftentimes we'll refer to this as the trauma bond, where you know in your head, you know this isn't the person that I should be with, or this isn't a good relationship, but in your heart and in your emotions, you're like, but I still want to go back, still want to interact, still want to see this person. And oftentimes that piece there like starts to feel like it's hopeless, that you're stuck, that you're trapped. And you start to doubt yourself. You start to feel helpless, like there's nothing you can do to get free. I want to let you know first and foremost, that's not true. We have a lot of people that are getting free. A lot of people have gotten free. And a lot of people were still in the process of helping them reconstruct and rebuild themselves, rewire their mindset to get free from toxicity. Well, when this happens, there's a long-term loss of self. Like when you're with a toxic person, when you're with a narcissist, you get to the place where you start to not realize who you are anymore. Like you start to doubt and you're like, I don't even know what's real. I don't even know who I am. And so often that's because you put so much effort into the other person. Maybe from a codependency standpoint, maybe from a standpoint of trying to build that person up, maybe the standpoint of like you don't want to give up, like whatever it is, like there's a huge aspect of putting so much in another person that you start to lose yourself. You lose your self-esteem, you lack confidence, you lack what is actually going on. And we see people that develop a lot of different things out of a narcissistic relationship that are not just like on a certain aspect, but all across the board. CPTSD is a big one. A lot of people being with a narcissist develop CPTSD because of the complex post-traumatic stress disorder, like the complex aspect of like constantly getting reactivated in that trauma. Develop different levels of anxiety. Some people will come up with depression, the headaches, fatigue, chronic health issues, developing substance abuse, like sleepless nights, like a lot of different things develop when you're with a toxic person and when you're in narcissistic abuse. Now, I didn't do a ton of research, but I also know that there is stuff there with the brain chemistry that damages and affects a lot. Different things that people have brought up has been like different aspects of memory loss, different disconnection with emotions, cognitive functions, left confused and lost, not knowing who you are, what's going on, what's happening. One of the biggest ways that this happens is from cognitive dissonance. Now, when you talk about cognitive dissonance, like the very, very short answer is holding two opposing thoughts in your head at the same time. Do I do this or do I do this? Like, do I get this? Do I get this? You know, that's like simple cognitive dissonance. When you're with a narcissist, it's like, do I believe their words? Do I believe their actions? Do I do this and get raged at? Do I do this and get the silent treatment? Like, which one do I actually do? And so many times you're left in that limbo land in between the two of those all the time. Like, there's not really a letting up. And being in that limbo land, that like high state of stress and anxiety and worry and confusion can leave you really struggling for a long period of time. Just not even just like the question, but like psychologically, emotionally, and also brain cognitive wise. Okay. All right, so healing from that. First off, I want to suggest, like, if you're dealing with this on any certain level, you need to seek professional help. Like, you need to get with someone who's going to help you grow, heal, change, and develop in those areas. So, like, there's different aspects of, like, CPTSD, depression, stuff like that, that you need to be going to someone and be like, hey, I don't know what to do. Now, what's going to help you is you need to work with someone who knows and understands what you're going through. So many times, like, we get people that will come to Raw Motivations or will come to different, like, different other people in, like, the narc talk community, like, trying to find help because they've gone to a therapist or they've gone to a counselor that doesn't get narcissistic abuse. Like, they don't understand it. And, like, they're just like, well, you know, you should just move on. You should just get over it. Like, they're trying to do, like, different things that don't help you rewire your mindset. Like there's been like countless people over the past like 2 months that like I've personally spoken to that have come and have been like, I'm not getting this from my therapist. Like I'm not getting this type of coaching because like they don't understand. Like that's the difference, is we want to try to be able to bring to the table clarity for you when you're trying to go through this and trying to understand the crazy making that you've been put through. Okay, so like there's a piece of like helping you like move and helping you progress like through this. Like it needs to be like a process of like getting to the place of like, hey, now I know what actually happened. Now I know what I need to work on. Now I know how to rewire my mindset. Now I know how to progress forward. Now I know how to set boundaries. Like all those things is being able to help you walk through a step in a process to start to focus on you, your growth, your healing, your change, and your development. Would love to be able to help you out with that. If you want to go to rawmotivation.com, you can click on one-on-ones and you can work with me personally, or you can work with one of our coaches to try to be able to help you move forward in your progression. Now that could be where you're stuck in a trauma bond right now and you need help learning how to be able to break that, to be able to actually work through the triggers that are controlling you on a day-to-day basis, to be able to rewire your mindset and take back who you are. Maybe that's getting through the detox phase and like limbo land of like not getting sucked back in, or like actually detoxing from that toxicity and then starting to build healthy boundaries. All those things and more are what I try to work with people one-on-one, what we have people doing when they go through the 45-day clarity challenge, like all different pieces and programs that we have to try to help you find you.